You know, when it comes to Xbox, you kind of have to just take everything that they say with a grain of salt at this particular time. But, you know, that doesn't mean that there's not some good things going. And I do think that we have to look to the good things to actually kind of accentuate over the negative stuff. So, you know, for me anyway, I do feel like this is one of the things where it does give Xbox a bit of an advantage over the competition. And, you know, I look at that as a good thing. You know, you have to have something to differentiate yourself. So, you know, I know Xbox is probably never going to have like exclusive games or anything like that anymore. But what they do have is, you know, certain services and things and features that can be looked at as an advantage over the competition. And that's exactly what they need to do. Like, again, you have to show me why I need to buy an Xbox. And, you know, again, I know a lot of people go, oh, well, they don't care. Well, that's a problem. You know, if you do have a product, I feel like it's still one of those things where you should take pride in that product and you should care about it and you should, you know, push it and, you know, try to at least get people on board with it, you know, other than just going, oh, well, we don't care about this or that or the other thing. I feel like that's always like the worst kind of road to take if you're you know, a place that's selling something to somebody. You know, it's just, it really is a negative thing to kind of do and a negative kind of reaction or whatever. But again, let's get into it. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you for checking this out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel. Means a lot to me personally if you guys could do that. And again, you know, I do daily gaming content, you know, try to be fun yet informative. So if that's something you're interested in, please stick around and let me know, you know, if this is the type of stuff you're interested in. Because again, I like doing this type of content. I have fun with it. And it seems like we're getting a little bit of growth there. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, it was interesting because Sony was recently talking about no plans to offer first-party games day one on PlayStation Plus, which is a stark contrast to what Microsoft is doing. And this could actually end up being a good thing for Microsoft because it differentiates itself from, you know, the competition. So there was an interview where Nick McGuire, Vice President of Global Services at PlayStation, said that hardware manufacturer has no plans to offer first-party titles day one on PlayStation Plus. He said, and I quote, "We've sort of stayed true to our strategy across the board where we're not looking to put games in day and date. Our strategy of finding 4 or 5 independent day-and-date titles and using that to complement our strategy of bringing games in when they're 12 or 18 months old or older, the balance for us is working really well across the platform." So, again, PlayStation Plus celebrates its 15th anniversary soon, having first launched in late June of 2010. Sony began issuing free games monthly for PS3 and later included Vita and PS4 over the next few years, although eventually phased out everything but PS5 and PS4 games. However, as of January of next year, PS4 games are going to become more of a rare offering, as Sony shifts focus to offering only PS5 titles. Elsewhere in an interview, he stated that it is possible that Sony may offer more PS3 games for the PS catalog, which is the format that has arguably been neglected most as far as PlayStation Plus is concerned. Unlike PS1 and PS2 and PS2P games, PS3 titles included in PS Plus have to be streamed. They're not able to be downloaded and played directly off the PS5 due to the technical issues that stem from the cell processor. But again, that's not really neither here nor there. What's interesting is that they're talking strictly about not being able to, you know, put the day one games in there. And I think that's definitely a stark contrast of what Microsoft is kind of aiming to do, what they're trying to do, and things like that. So again, like, this is could be a good thing for Microsoft, you know, if they're going to able to kind of handle things well, if they're able to kind of do things that, you know, no other company can do, then that's going to be a good thing. You know, like, I don't know what the future is going to bring for the Xbox and things like this, but I do know that we're living in this weird kind of world where at the end of the day, we see that Xbox continues to kind of fall by the wayside, and you can't have that, you know. And it's funny because, like, on X and stuff like that, people go, oh, well, if they transition to be like Sega, no real loss there or whatever. I mean, listen, we lose our digital libraries. I think that's a huge loss there. That's a really negative thing to kind of have to deal with. But not only is that like a super negative thing to have to deal with, but you also have to think about how, you know, just in general, not having that competition and what that means to, all the gamers and to us in general. Like, I feel like that's something that we as fans kind of underreact to. It's just like, do you guys, if you're having a blast this generation, then you might not agree with this. But if you're someone like me who thinks, a lot of games have lost their soul and, that competitive edge and things like that, then you might agree with what I'm going to say, which is that competition is directly killing this. And, that's something that, Microsoft can fix, and that's something that they need to fix. And they can be directly a part of that, is what I'm trying to the point I'm trying to get across. You have to be able to go out there and have something that is going to really entice people and want people to get on board with you. And that's something that Microsoft has to do a better job of. And, in the future, maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe they change directions. Maybe they do something. I personally feel like if they change directions again, they'll lose whatever they have already. That's honestly something that I could see happening. Like, people are already kind of giving up on Microsoft, and now to kind of see the way that this is kind of going, I think that it's not good news for Microsoft in general, because people might go, okay, well, like, PlayStation really has it down. I personally think that Microsoft really panicked a lot early with the Xbox One due to their own issues. They were like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna do DRM, no used games, all this, and then it like really put them in a hole. And so when people started ignoring the Xbox and going more for PlayStation, you just kind of get the idea that that they really were kind of looking for something to do. And it's like a lot of it is PR stuff, like the whole Play Anywhere stuff is really just a PR move. The whole situation where we as fans are getting this stuff, that like, this stuff really means nothing. Like the Asus ROG, that thing already existed. You know what I mean? Slapping an Xbox logo on it doesn't change anything, doesn't necessarily make it an Xbox. All the stuff that they're doing, honestly, to me, does not feel like they're doing things to push the hardware. It seems like they're trying to do things to mitigate the losses in the hardware, and that they're not really interested in the hardware anymore to begin with. So that could be a super negative thing. And when you have to kind of have something different, maybe they can go into next generation and drop the paywall to play online, right? That would be different. You have backwards compatibility natively, and that could be different. You have just a lot of these different things, and I think that could really help them kind of their platform stand out a little bit. Of course, I think pricing and all that kind of stuff has a lot to play a role in it as well. Whether or not they're going to do physical games, that as well. But when you look at it, I think Game Pass is probably one of the bigger differentiators between all of gaming, and that's something that they need to build upon, and to kind of make people realize that, hey, you know what, this is why you should get an Xbox. Instead of just going, we don't care, you go, hey, this is exactly why we want to sell people an Xbox. This is exactly why we kind of want to do this, or we kind of want to do that. To me anyway, that's something that that Microsoft can do better with, and hopefully they do. Like I said, I don't want to see a situation where Xbox completely dies. That would be bad for everybody. I know people think that I hate Xbox or whatever the case may be. Not the case at all. I actually love Xbox. It's my preferred platform. I don't even think I played my PS5 this year. Here we are almost in month 7, and I don't even think I played it. So yeah, it's a really kind of sad situation. And that's not really to knock the PlayStation, it's just I've always kind of leaned more towards Xbox, especially like when it comes to multiplayer stuff or whatever, and even my multi-platform games, mostly because I have like a pretty decent achievement list and things like that. That's why I really hate to see Xbox like go down the way that they are. I would love to see them be able to go out there and compete and do things that they've never done before, and get people excited again. Like that. There's just nobody excited about Xbox anymore, and that's a real shame in my opinion. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on this stuff, though. Are you guys excited about the situation. And, you know, if you are excited about the future of Xbox, I mean, how can you, I would really be remiss to ask, how could anybody be excited about what Xbox is doing now? But if you are, let me know why exactly you are. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys all have a great day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, and as always, I'll catch you guys here next time. Have a great day.